You had, in most baseball managements, former baseball players. That's who ran baseball teams, typically. That's who managed baseball teams, typically. And I think it's true to say that you can't be too stupid to play baseball. You can be too stupid to play football and basketball. The other sports, baseball really is incredible in how it would accommodate what level of mental activity it will accommodate. And this was the talent pool from which they drew their management. What were people who they weren't necessarily stupid, but they didn't need to be not stupid in order to be there. And I'm not just maybe putting it intelligently, but anyway. So you introduce into that environment quants, people who are making everything complicated all of a sudden. And there is a ferocious blowback that there has been in sports and is right now going on, a culture war that is breathtaking to watch, where, for right now anyway, one side is mostly right and the other side is mostly wrong. And the side that's wrong is screaming lots of insults at the side that's right. And when I saw this, I thought, I've seen this before. In a funny way, I saw it. It's the subject of my first book, Liar's Poker. I saw it when I was working on the trading floor of Salomon Brothers in the mid-1980s. And virtually everything that has gone wrong with the world right now in the financial world started on that trading floor at Salomon Brothers in the 1980s. And but started, in many cases, as something good that became bad. But one of the things that started was the business got intellectualized. There were innovations in finance, particularly the introduction of financial futures and particularly options, that forced the business to become more intellectual. In the late 1970s on Wall Street, the traders were basically told, don't think. That if you weren't trading bonds, you'd be driving a truck, and don't try to confuse yourself by thinking too much about this. It was very close to a blue-collar activity. The Salomon Brothers trading floor had on it mostly high school graduates without college degrees, and mostly guys from New Jersey who had lots of kind of hair coming up out of the top of their shirts and who walked like this, and the name Ronnie and Donnie, and it was just getting a little rough. And into this environment came the Wall Street we have today, which has given us this disaster. A Wall Street of highly educated business people who are comfortable with sophisticated quantitative analysis. And I can remember a moment when I realized just the degree of contempt that the old Wall Street, the old guard, had for this new thing that was coming on. There's a general rule. The people who'd come out of business school or the physics department at MIT who landed on the Salomon Brothers trading floor knew to avoid anybody who had hair coming out of the tops of their collars. That the encounter was unlikely to be pleasant or productive. The person on the Salomon Brothers trading floor, of whom every business school graduate was most terrified of, was named Donnie Green. And if you wanted to just warn someone about a trader, you stay with him, you'd say, watch out, he's a Donnie Green type. Donnie Green himself, one day, it was Christmas vacation. Donnie Green himself saw a young man who had just come out of the Chicago Business School walking off the trading floor with his bags. And he was going back to Chicago for Christmas. And Donnie Green shouted, he said, come over here, kid. And the kid wound up that Donnie Green was terrified that Donnie Green was going to beat him up. And he said, yeah. He says, where do you think you're going? He says, I got a holiday, Christmas vacation, I'm going home. And Donnie Green says, you're flying? You're going to the airport? You're going to take a plane? He says, yeah. Donnie Green reached into his wallet, took out a $20 bill, and he says, here you go. He says, when you get to the airport, go to one of those little machines and buy some crash insurance and put it in my name. And kid goes, why? And Donnie Green said, I feel lucky.